Welcome back to Selenon Rising. I totally thought the last, the last chapter, chapter 3, was the last chapter of this episode, but apparently there's another one. So it looks like we're at a world of raining funerals, because every funeral is always raining. It'd be pretty funny if this was like the funeral of the enforcer guy and not for like Blue Dude. I'm standing in a small graveyard near the outer city. I can hear meteors hitting the dome, and the sounds echo around in my empty head. I feel hollow. Red is standing next to me as the empty casket is ready to be lowered into the ground, and one of the faceless bureau higher-ups makes a brief speech about Blue's loyalty and bravery. It makes me want to throw up. Blue did this for me. He saved my life. He sacrificed himself for me, and yet I don't even know how I survived or why I deserve to be here. Maybe he's not even dead, how do you know? I catch sight of my warped reflection in the casket. My face is a mask with no expression. I feel hot and cold at the same time, and I hug my arms tightly against my body. I can't bear this. I can't comprehend it. I should be sad, and I think I am, but mostly right now I'm livid. Surprisingly, Red just stands there, her usual bravado gone. It's almost as if all the life has been sucked out of her. I don't think even she expected things to turn out this way. As other agents move forward to pay their respects, Red and I both remain still. I don't want this ritual. I don't want to resign myself to Blue's death. I close my eyes, waiting for him to show up, to tell us all how he cheated Lady Luck once again. But no matter how long I wait, nothing changes. I would expect Red to be bursting at the seams with rage at this moment, but she is strangely calm. As if, just for this moment, she is an entirely different person, some past figment that was thrown away and forgotten. My own emotions overtake me, and I have to breathe deeply and slowly to control myself. The other agents have finished their processional to pay their respects, and I am left standing by Blue's grave with only Red for company. Red jerks her head in a kind of nod towards Blue's coffin and then walks away. I'm here alone. Just me. They should have changed the picture so I was here alone, but... Blue... I have to stop for a moment. I let the emotions wash over me, and then I steady myself and face his grave resolutely. I won't waste it. I promise. I don't stay to see the rest of the proceedings. After all, the coffin is empty, and I don't want to believe that Blue's spirit is being laid to rest. Walking away from the grave, I head to my car to return to the bureau. The chief requested my presence for what I don't know. It had better be to tell me what the plan is for getting even with the Selenon. What would Blue tell me if he were here? I wish I could just hear his voice again. All the way back to the bureau, I replay the last night that Blue and I spent together, and I wish that things had gone differently. I replay the car crash and pulling Blue's unconscious body out of the window. I replay the moment that Blue disintegrated into nothingness right before my eyes, and there was nothing I could do about it. Why didn't I just give myself to the Selenon? I could have saved Blue if I weren't so damn stubborn. All I've been able to do since it happened was think about that moment. That moment when Blue turned around and looked at me. The look in his eyes. But as my mind jumps to that moment, I go back to another moment. When I wasn't myself. When the voice in my throat wasn't my own. What on earth happened to me after the Dark One tried to kill me? There's so much I don't understand. Oh, things. I pull up in front of the bureau and get out of my car. The trip down to the chief's office is a blur, and suddenly I'm standing in front of the large oak door. Miss Pierce isn't in the outer office, so I knock several times. Oh god, it's her. I'm perturbed if she opens it and gestures for me to come inside. Agent Violet is here, Chief. Oh god, what was Chief's voice? I'm just gonna make it something not annoying to do, like, oh good, you're here. I want to talk to you about your next assignment.
as you now have a contact in Zara's camp, we want you to work their contract and try to gain access to their supply routes coming from outside the city.
Let's do this. Excuse me, sir, but with all due respect, what does this have to do with getting even with the Selenon for Blue's... for Blue?
Oh, I'm not sure of your meeting, Agent.
I mean, how are we going to avenge his death?
We will do no such thing.
Miss Pierce is correct. We aren't gonna do anything to the Selenon. The Bureau's top priority is to keep the Selenon happy at any cost in order to protect humanity.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, I understand what our priorities are, sir, but they obviously aren't working. Wasn't Blue human too? Didn't he deserve your protection?
Agent Blue perished in the line of duty. He was performing his job as he should have been. Well, it's a pity that he will no longer be part of the Bureau. It is not a matter that requires further action.
Miss Violet, Adult Blue would have wanted us to waste valuable time arguing over a point that's already moot.
Blue did more than his duty. He saved my life. He saved it and he died. All for what? So the Selenon would get their blood? Tell me what this pact you have with them entails. Right now. You're no better than the Selenon. The moon... the moon? The room momentarily falls silent at my outburst. Then Miss Pierce speaks, her voice like a glacier.
You are still new to the Bureau. I would advise you to avoid making any rash statements.
I lower my voice to match Miss Pierce's. I lower my voice? It's more like I make my voice higher, and make my tone equally cold as I answer. Actually, I think this is exactly the time to be making rash statements. Pierce pauses for a moment, adjusting her glasses. The chief clears his throat.
Violet, I'd hope not to bring this up, but perhaps it is time for you to be told what this pact truly is.
It had better be something that makes Blue's death worthwhile. I mean, the pact is probably like, you protect us and then we don't kill you, right?
You see, the truth is that the Dark One...
He created the Bureau.
Is that weird? Like, I thought we already knew this. Like, the Bureau is created to help the Selenon, so that they don't destroy humanity. That can't... How is this a revelation? I stumble backwards, my ears ringing from the sudden shock of blood rushing to my head. It can't be that monster was behind all of this?
Is it such a surprise? After all, your powers are the same as those of the Selenon. Who do you think gave them to you?
I don't know. I was expecting something else. Anything else. It's not a surprise to me. Only a surprise to this character, apparently.
Your Selenon nearly destroyed humanity. The Dark One could have easily obliterated us, but he gave us the chance to redeem ourselves from our past sins.
You're talking about him as if he was a god. He's a murderer. What part of the Selenon's existence ever involved protecting humans?
That is exactly what the rebels want you to believe. But, Violet, the truth is that we were the ones who struck first. We brought this upon ourselves by deciding to wage war against them.
Somehow I find it hard to believe that the Selenon were emissaries of peace.
The Selenon are beings beyond our comprehension. To assume anything about them would be foolhardy at best. That is what led us to this point in the first place.
I don't have to assume that the Selenon are evil. The proof is right in front of my eyes.
Believe what you want to believe, but without the Dark One, none of us would be here.
No, without the Dark One, Blue would still be here. I turn on my heel and walk out of the chief's office without looking back.
She's being unusually forceful. Do you think she's truly in control of her emotions? Given what's happened to her, maybe, or perhaps she should be given leave.
The worst thing to do when an Esper has lost control is to let them dwell in their own thoughts. They need something to concentrate on other than themselves. Otherwise, they might become dangerously unstable.
But what threat would that pose? She can only read people's minds.
And I could become Super Rainbow too.
Is that what she told you? I'm not sure you know exactly what an Esper is capable of. Now then, I should return to the reconstruction efforts.
Wait, Pierce, what did you mean? What else can an Esper do?
You shouldn't concern yourself with that. After all, I will never let it happen.
Oh, well, that's a relief, I think.
You're surprisingly uninformed for the chief of the Bureau.
By the way, I believe you had a meeting scheduled in 5 minutes.
Or is he the chief of the enforcers? I don't remember which one of those things is true.
Right. I guess be going to the meeting, I mean,
Wow.
This is more tiring than I thought.
I quickly make my way out of headquarters, fuming. I can't believe that the chief is going to do absolutely nothing about Blue. He was one of us. He was arguably the best agent, the best man. It hurts so much. I burst out of the front doors of headquarters, and I was not able to read that because I... Hang on. And so towards my car. Okay, that advances by itself super fast. Jesus, Red. What is wrong with you? Can't you teleport a little further away from the person you're trying to scare to death?
Shut up and come with me.
Red grabs my wrist and pulls me into the alleyway next to headquarters. Get off of me. I shake her grip from my arm and stand staring at her angrily.
Oh, looks like the newbie's finally grown a pair.
What do you want, Red? I'm really not in the mood for your attitude today. Underneath her usual anger and taunting, I can detect a strain of sincerity, unusual for someone like Red. Whatever she means to say, it must be serious.
Fine, I'll cut to the chase. Sandman, he may have been a fool, but he was right about one thing. We can become something greater.
Yeah, you should know that, Violet. Excuse me? She's talking about the Power Rangers. Maybe.
I'm talking about making sure the Selenon are no longer a threat.
That sounds a lot like the Resistance to me.
I'm nothing like those imbeciles. They have no plan to save humanity, just false hope and empty idealism. I believe that the Selenon could fear us, and I think you know exactly what I mean.
You saw what happened?
It seems my thoughts about you were wrong. You aren't defenseless after all. In fact, you might have some potential.
Potential? What are you talking about? I barely escaped with my life.
Yes, indeed you did. That's what interests me. No human has ever been able to stand up to the Dark One. Not even the Machina could stand in his way. He is the strongest Selenon the Earth has ever seen, and you deflected his attack like a ping-pong ball.
I don't claim to know how I did it, nor do I want to know. All I want is to be left in peace. Don't you want revenge?
Peace, peace. Ha 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 ha. Do you even realize the power you possess? With that power, you can make the Selenon bow to your will.
Excuse me?
You and I, we're both one of a kind. We have the potential that others lack. You just don't have the skill to use it. But if you join me, maybe you won't need someone to defend you anymore.
Oh, so is Red going to become my new partner at the Bureau now? A sudden shock goes through my body and I feel my blood run cold. Joining her, would it truly allow me to fight a Selenon? That seems impossible, but I can't deny what happened earlier. I saw it with my own eyes. I'm not sure what to say.
Be surprised on your own time. I need an answer now.
Oh, you can actually choose between no and yes this time? I bet it doesn't affect the story, but I think that's a good idea. I like the sound of that plan. That is, if it's really all it's cracked up to be.
Don't second guess me. You're the one with the useless powers. You shouldn't even be talking right now.
I'd like to see you stop the Dark One.
You didn't stop him. You just gave him a paper cut.
What exactly are you asking me to do?
That's not for me to say. The Master has decided to grace you with his presence. He will explain all.
Red has a wild look in her eyes that scares me. I want to avenge Blue, but I have the feeling that whatever Red has in mind is way more than that. She is filled with happiness, but something about it is twisted, fueled by her anger and hatred.
With Father's guidance, you can become unstoppable.
Father? Who is this father you're referring to?
The one who will grant us the power to oppose, no, control the Selenon. The power of absolute dominion.
I think there are other ways of getting things done. I still don't think what you did was right with Sandman. Just killing him. He could have been useful to us.
Trust me, men like that are never useful. Him and spineless little creeps like Grange, who will sell their measly skills for even the smell of cash, to get exactly what's coming to them, a swift death.
Something about the way Red says this, and the violence and elation going through her mind, makes me stop. Red, did you kill Grange?
What if I did?
That's murder! You're supposed to enforce the law. How can you be so nonchalant about taking another person's life?
The mission of the Bureau is to protect humanity at any cost. They wouldn't admit it to the general public, but they need people like me, people who aren't afraid to do what's necessary.
You're not going to get away with this. I'm going to report you. I bet the Chief Array knows about it. I start to turn back towards headquarters, but Red teleports directly in front of me and pins me to the wall.
Listen closely. I was right outside the door during your meeting with the Chief and Peters, and believe me when I say that they're not going to listen to you. They don't care what you think, and they aren't going to believe your word against mine.
I'm frozen. Red's face is inches from mine.
So don't bother trying it.
There's no hint of fear in Red's mind, just pure belief in her own words. Maybe she's right. That outburst I just had in front of the Chief is not going to help my credibility. I make a decision as I stare at Red, and I stand up straighter. I'm going to pass. What? But I wanted to do it, so my choice totally doesn't matter, apparently. Pass. It's not a big deal, though. Yes, as in, I'm not interested. That isn't what Blue would have wanted.
You really think you know what Blue would have wanted? He died for you. Don't you want to?
Red's face contorts with anger, though she reins herself in.
Fine then. Do nothing if you want, but mark my words, the Dark One will die by my hand.
There she goes. Without another word, Red disappears. I involuntarily breathe a sigh of relief as soon as she's gone. The intense anger that was pressing on my mind lessens. I have to do something, but following Red would not have been the right choice. She's off her rocker. I continue to my car and open the driver's door. I get in and rest my head against the steering wheel, breathing slowly. I will find a way to make the Selenon pay for what they did to Blue. It's time for their reign of terror to end, once and for all. Now I just have to figure out how. I drive home slowly. For the first time in days, I'm very aware of the fact that I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. I go home because I don't know where else to go. As I enter my small apartment, it seems cavernous and empty and extremely dark. An overwhelming wave of tiredness sweeps across me, the emptiness reflecting exactly how I feel. I sit down on my couch without turning on a light. Suddenly, something buzzes in my ear. I spotted an alarm and then realized that it is the earpiece. I completely forgot I was still wearing it. I pull the mic out of my pocket and finger it lightly. Maybe I should try and contact Sam, but what are the chances that he'll still talk to me now that I'm not of any use to him? Our alliance is technically over. I put the mic down and stare around the dark apartment. Even though Blue never really spent any time here, it still feels empty without him. How is that possible? I never knew it was possible to miss someone so much so suddenly. I get up and walk towards the kitchen. Maybe I should eat something, although nothing sounds appealing at the moment. Instead, I go to the cabinet and pour myself a drink. Just as I'm about to sit down again, there's a knock at my door. I jump. Who could that be? Hastily, look at my really pink eye. Hastily picking up my gun from where I left it on my counter, I hugged the wall beside the door and opened it a crack. Illuminated in the light streaming in from the hallway is an unknown figure. Who is it? Oh, it is Zarla. As I'm about to open my mouth to ask what they want, I notice their face in the darkness. It's Zarla. Aren't you afraid that I'll shoot you?
Well, you haven't yet. I must have done something right.
She sounds like Pierce, but I just ended up giving Pierce the same voice as her, I think. I wonder if I can't blow your brains out in the time it takes for you to close the distance.
I don't think you want to shoot me, though. It's because I have something you want. Another option.
Shut up. Someone like you can never understand.
I need you, and you need me. That's just the way it is.
Have you noticed how empty this apartment is, too? Why would I ever join a bunch of deranged criminals?
Because of Moonshot. It sounds like you've heard of it before.
I've never heard of anything of the sort.
Then maybe I should give you the lowdown. When we attacked the Selenon, the chances were slim, but we knew we had to.
We had to doom ourselves in extinction.
Freedom is the most important thing a living being can have. To live without freedom is to never live at all. The Selenon's idea of order is obedience to their rules and their dictation of our fate. Some people might like having the future laid out for them, but I don't.
Is that why you rebels are so suicidal?
I sure as hell ain't. No, I think we still have a shot at freedom, but first we need a machina.
A machina?
Yeah, you heard me. The ultimate weapon. This isn't more of Sandman's guff, this is real. You can see it in the sky every night.
Wait, you aren't talking about that hole in the moon?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. A machina made that hole. A machina that can stop the Selenon.
Lies, that's impossible.
I know it exists. Tell me, Violet, if you had a real shot at killing the Dark One, would you take it?
You're talking about me like I'm part of your plan.
Let me give it to you straight, Violet. The reason I wanted you is that we need a pilot.
Why ask me, not someone from the Resistance?
Only an Esper can use it.
Is that why you tried to kidnap me? Because of that insane notion? It doesn't even make any sense.
There's only one way to find out for sure. Join us.
Are you out of your mind? You think you can just barge in here and expect the Bureau agent to help you find the most dangerous piece of technology in existence?
Huh. I was never one for beating around the bush. I won't lie, I never expected you to see eye to eye. But if there's a chance, I have to take it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, am I right?
You should already know what my answer is. To be continued. Oh, okay, so that was the end? Really? That was very, very abrupt. Yeah, the end of episode 1. That was a pretty enjoyable game. Well, it was more like a visual novel than a game. There wasn't much gameplay in it. Though the gameplay that they had in it, I enjoyed a lot. I'll let it run through the credits. But yeah, I don't know when the next episode is coming out. When it does, I'll definitely play it, so I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Mouse cursor. Whoa, look, there was more stuff. Target locked. Continuing surveillance protocol. I don't know what that is. Whoa, that was so mysterious. Also, new clothing unlocked. What? I didn't know you could get new clothing in this game. How do I look at it? Also, look, the background is different. I guess the background changes once you beat the first episode. So, here's the dark one. And that's Zarla. And I don't know who that is. But yeah, let's see. If you're still here and you didn't leave, then you get to see this really cool clothes. I actually like that. Maybe we'll wear that in the next episode. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you whenever the next episode comes out.